Hey, everybody. Super exciting and informative chat today about leveraging AI and the data productivity space with HumanFirst.ai. Gregory, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Evan.
Well, thanks for being here. Really excited for this chat. Very timely and intrigued by you and your team's work. Maybe to start, some introductions. Give us an overview of Human First and your mission in the data productivity space.
Sure. So I'm Gregory Whiteside. I'm the CEO, co-founder of HumanFirst. We're a data productivity platform for prompt and data engineering. So we help teams leverage large language models and their data to drive decisions and to help build better AI-powered solutions that make their businesses better. So HumanFirst is a horizontal platform. You can think of it a bit like Excel in that way. So we're really a productivity tool that helps teams work with their unstructured data much more efficiently using really fast workflows and any generative AI model.
Wow, exciting stuff. So timely. Tell us about the inspiration from you and your co-founder really to create Human First. What was the big idea and the problem with unstructured data that you were coming across again and again?
Yeah, so we've been in the AI tooling space for over 6 years. We started HumanFirst back when chatbot platforms and human augmentation platforms were just hitting the market. And HumanFirst, when we started, wasn't what it is today. So the first product that we came out with was a Chrome extension that would integrate to live chat platforms and help agents reply faster with smart replies and templates that were generated from a model. So
Oh, wow.
our hunch back then and the thesis around unstructured data was that all companies were starting to interact with customers through different channels, be those voice or text, and that all this data that was unstructured and hard to parse held a lot of business value. And we started by trying to help make agents better, faster. What we realized along the way was that a lot of other people were really building very vertical solutions to help
Mm.
agents or to help build chatbots, and that it was a very red ocean, a lot of competition. What we saw was a really big gap in terms of the tooling to work specifically on the data, to understand what's in the data, and to turn that into actionable data for AI. And so a lot of development from others on the end value, but not a lot of development in terms of the tooling and the horizontal data layer. So we've been focused on that problem for the last 5 years. And with the with ChatGPT and the advent of Gen AI, it's just made the building blocks that we built for that data much more powerful. We've included prompt engineering with the data engineering that we've brought to market. And now it's exploding the number of use cases that we can solve with HumanFirst.
Fantastic. Well, let's dive into the platform. Tell us about the platform capabilities and kind of how it's being used today within the enterprise.
Sure. So again, we're really at the intersection of prompt engineering and data engineering. So I'll start with data engineering because that's what we've built and productized and brought to market. So data engineering for us really means being able to explore and curate data that is unstructured, so text data in any form. And that is often multi-turn conversations. So in the context of contact centers, your voice chat logs or your live chat logs. It can also be product reviews, email threads, so anything that is textual and that represents an interaction between humans. So the hard part of that and the data engineering required is because to make sense of this type of data, you need to use capabilities that until now were really reserved to data science teams. So things like
Mm.
clustering and semantic search. So being able to sift and filter through that data is complex if you don't have tools that are made for that. So we're helping non-technical users ingest all this unstructured data and then explore it really, really quickly and drill down and be able to select the specific subset of data that they want to leverage, either for insights or to help accelerate projects. And on the other side, the prompt engineering. So for us, it's very clear that LLMs are increasingly going to be tasked with every single type of analysis or action on data that humans are doing today. What's difficult there is working on a prompt, so the instructions you give to a model, and making sure that that prompt and the output you get is accurate and that you can trust it at scale. And so by combining the ability to iterate on prompts and to iterate on prompts by using data, the ground truth, we're able to help teams really quickly deploy prompts that help them understand and capture value from their data. I'll give you a specific example that is very kind of repeatable and that we see across all enterprise customers. In a contact center setting, understanding within the data where there's automation opportunities. So what conversations could be handled, say, by a chatbot. So far, it's been a very top-down approach. Teams have been kind of guessing what are the things that they should automate and guessing how to automate them. But if you start from the data and instead use the power of large language models to sift through all the conversations first, to divide that data into different types of conversations, and then put your attention on the ones that seem the highest value, and then task again the LLM to help you figure out what are the opportunities for chatbots, and then beyond that even more, what are the exact specific chatbot flows that should be used. You can really accelerate the speed, but also the quality and the priority that you give to projects. So that's the type of work that we're actively helping a lot of large customers do today on the CX and on their contact center intelligence.
Oh, fantastic. And much work to be done there on the CX front. So it looks like you have the base covered there. What other ways is the platform being used, whether it's, business operations or roadmaps, planning, business intelligence? What other opportunities might be out there?
Yeah, so we started, and our bread and butter before kind of generative AI hit the mainstream was helping teams build much better performing automation solutions within their contact center or their customer support. So specifically taking chatbots that have been deployed and making them much more reliable, able to understand much more things and provide a better experience. So this was with specifically NLU projects, so projects that depend on natural language understanding. So using a tool like HumanFirst, you can take your existing data and understand where your chatbot's not performing correctly, and then extract and find the relevant data to improve the chatbot. So we were very much on the tactical side. And what's interesting is that what Gen AI and large language models now provide is really the ability to analyze and to surface insights much faster and at a much more granular level. And that's why we're seeing a lot of teams now use HumanFirst much more upstream in projects. So not to develop the project, but even to understand what are the things that we should be investing in today based on a data-driven approach to that. So using large language models and these types of capabilities to say, well, here's where we have opportunities or here's where we have problems, but here's specific numbers showing us how often these things happen within our within our day-to-day or our real conversations. And so this this is really useful when you're thinking of companies starting to build out multi-year digital transformation journeys, let's say in a call center, like figuring out where do we put, like where are we going to get the biggest bang for our buck today, and doing that in a very data-driven and very fast approach. I think that's a common problem that we're able to solve for customers.
Got it. So yes, we've all had the experience of bad chatbots, and turned many of us off over the years. And we definitely see the opportunity for LLMs to make chatbots better. But we also see clearly that, ChatGPT and some other of the favored LLMs are not suitable for customer service CX off the shelf, given hallucinations and all kinds of issues. So how do we bridge that gap? How do we leverage LLMs but ground them to truth, as you say? What's that process look like in terms of effort, time, and
Yeah,
investment?
that's a great question. And I think if we're looking at it really at a macro level, kind of question becomes, how do we enable our workforce generally to become more AI enabled and to become more productive with AI? And I think that's really going to require a constant investment in the workforce, in the training, upskilling, and in helping people in different departments understand and then look for opportunities and use cases where they can apply tools like ChatGPT and others to help make them more productive. So I think first it's going to be a long-term effort, and we're seeing every team now kind of starting to think of the problem not being so much how do we bring AI to solve this specific problem, but more how are we going to organize ourselves and our entire company and workforce to become gradually better and to leverage the work that everyone's doing. Um, so, but I think the you mentioned ChatGPT and you mentioned it not being the right tool for different for use cases like customer support. And I think that's really what we're seeing and what we're out to solve is that the thing that's going to block companies and that is blocking companies today is really the expertise and the tooling. So
Mm.
without understanding kind of what is doable and having a vision, I would say, of where AI can take your role, it's very hard, obviously, to even get started. So that's the first thing is becoming um, you know aware and having the training and the opportunities to kind of expand the understanding of what AI is beyond it's a better search to it's something that I can actually start replacing parts of my work. But then on the tooling side, having not being blocked by the tools that you use because in certain cases they're way too basic to attack bigger problems. So having the tooling that allows you to kind of go from a crawl, walk, run without changing tools. So to be able to iterate, test, validate, but then also bring things to a POC and a production level within the same tool. I think that's what we want to solve, but I also think it's what's needed because the alternative is over reliance on many, many, many different vertical solutions that will kind of solve certain problems or automate certain things, but force companies to those workflows or to the way that the AI is kind of done in that black box way. Whereas I think most companies will gain the competitive advantage that they should get from AI, not just by using kind of the same baseline AI that everybody else in the industry is using, but really by being producers of AI rather than just consumers. And for that, you need to be able to really create and align AI to what represents your workflows, your processes, your values, etc. And that's going to be kind of the thing that better tooling will unlock.
Oh, fantastic. Care to share any success stories or customer case studies so far? How what the impact was within those kind of customer operations?
Sure. Well, I can talk about one of the exciting, customers and working very closely with a company called Infobip. So they're
Hmm.
one of the
Great,
Twilio's
great company.
largest.
Yep.
Yeah, great company. Great from From a story perspective, I don't know if you know, but they bootstrapped to $1 billion in revenue out of Europe. So like they're a very impressive team and approach. And so they're a Twilio competitor for the viewers who don't know them, and the biggest Twilio competitor in Europe, and process billions and billions of messages per year. So on their internal operations side, they're using HumanFirst today to do what I was describing before, which is understand in all the inbound and all the exchanges that their support team is having via email and via live chat, what are the areas where the FAQs or where the self-serve capabilities that they've put in place are lacking. So helping improve the coverage and the self-serve capabilities by analyzing the data and then generating the content that's going to help users with LLMs. So they've been able to take HumanFirst and identify over 200 new flows that they can build out and automate that represent a quite large part of the kind of inbound traffic that's taking a lot of their human time. But what's interesting with them, and I think with a lot of companies that are processing a lot of data, is that they have obviously thousands of customers who have the same exact problems of wanting to take their data and make something with it. And so we're starting now to also work with InfoBip to to bring this kind of capability to their customers.
Oh, fantastic. Look forward to seeing that in action. Um, so how does a typical customer like InfoBip get started with you? Is it just a matter of licensing the tool, or there's typical consulting or customization required? I mean, what's the sort of crawl,
Yeah.
walk, run process you described?
Yeah, so today our tool is so we sell mainly to enterprise, so it's direct sales. We start with a POC, so we evaluate with a customer kind of what are the opportunities that they're already probably thinking about in terms of applying LLMs to data, and then we help them solve kind of a small part of that with our help, and so handhold their team to come out and quickly show results using HumanFirst. And that then converts into a yearly license where the team starts adopting the tool themselves. Now we've got a great customer success and professional service team as well. And because HumanFirst is a tool, I mentioned a bit like Excel. So it's a tool where if you spend 1,000 hours, you're going to become much, much more efficient and be able to drive a lot more value than if you spend 2 hours. So we are helping train, but ultimately our goal is to not just train users to kind of solve that first problem that they come to, but we know that with a tool that is horizontal and that you can apply to all problems within the enterprise, we can help take companies and elevate their entire workforce in terms of AI adoption. And this is where we're going now with the product, is to help not just a part or one team within an organization, but really provide access to everyone to the best tooling to interact with those models, and tooling that allows everyone to gradually do more and more advanced and more valuable things with AI. And so we're going to be extending over the next few months, and this has been a very big product push for us, but helping make the tool useful to everyone within the organization, and specifically then helping the teams on the customer support and on the call center side do very advanced things with their data.
Wow, exciting. Would you call yourself low code, no code solution, or is that just marketing speak? It really does that mean much from your
Yeah, no,
point of
we're
view? Or
definitely low code. In fact, I mean, uh, a lot of the use case and a lot of customers use it in a no code capacity, but
Mm,
you can extend it and build around our integrations and bring in different types of data or connect different things with code. But we are definitely a no code, low code solution. And we think that this is, AI is going to drive the adoption of low code, no code tools a lot. We're very complementary with other low code platforms that are going to be, I think, more and more used within operations and companies. So things like workflow automation platforms, say Zapier or Make or other
Mm,
enterprise equivalents. I think these are really platforms that we're seeing more people turn to as they realize that that is a part that unlocks the end-to-end value for AI within their org. And so we're going to be playing very closely with those platforms.
fantastic. That's a great opportunity for those companies. And you're agnostic of LLMs, so you must see it all, or you're seeing open source. So you're seeing obviously open AI, the 800-pound gorilla, but what proprietary LLMs, you really don't care what data set you're looking at.
That's correct. Yeah. So we are seeing, I confirm from our view, at least into the market, that the multi-model approach is definitely what we think and see is going to be prioritized. So teams don't want to be locked into a single model, a single provider.
Mm,
Now that said, a lot of teams are on obviously one cloud and prioritize for or start in a lot of cases with the models that are available there. But most hyperscalers are making open source models available via their hubs. And so I think that the typical team is going to be testing, evaluating, and using probably multiple models in production. We're not seeing, and I don't think that from a timing perspective, most teams are fine tuning a lot of models to specific tasks. Of course, there's a lot of excitement around that, and I believe that that is where a lot of the projects end up in the run phase. But I would say that today, a lot of teams are more at the crawl walk, at least from what we're seeing, and that the idea is to get the business value, to prove the business value, the ROI out of a approach based on LLMs. And once that's proven, then fine tuning a model that is going to be very specific to one task makes a lot of sense. But yeah, so I think that multimodal or multi models are what we expect to see in most teams.
interesting. Well, exciting times ahead. What do you see? I guess your head's down helping customers this year and next. Any downtime this summer? Any events coming up? What's on your radar up in Montreal? Of course, beautiful time of the year in Montreal. Might have to get outdoors, take advantage, I'm sure, and have a little bit of R&R.
Yeah, I mean, summer from a sales perspective is always a bit slower. People go on holidays, so for us, it's always a time when we really focus on product and closing a lot of things in our roadmap. So we've got a really exciting summer ahead. So going into the fall, our mission is to make is to become the single interface through which workers and companies get value with LLMs. And so bringing this tool not just to the very high value repeatable use cases that we're selling today, but helping all workers benefit from models and with a more productive interface than say chat GPTs. That's what we're excited and is coming in the next few months. We're also going to be at a few events and conferences. Yeah, so we're keeping busy and scaling the team. So yeah, Montreal is exciting these days.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations on the work. Much needed, very important work to really deliver AI versus just talk about it. So onwards and upwards. Thanks, Gregory.
Thanks, Evan. It was really a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Likewise. Thanks so